All right, Smolov session number 18. Today's Saturday, and this finishes up the base cycle of squatting 4 days a week. Today's percent was 85 plus 35 pounds for 10 sets of triples. Now, the other day I mentioned that my my right knee was a little funky from getting in and out of the car. Today, knock on wood, it actually felt fantastic. I did take a couple little precautions yesterday. I slammed some ibuprofen before bed, and I slapped on a little equine rub that I happened to find in my bathroom, so that was good. Had a little Tiger Balm too, but I decided to go with the good stuff. So maybe those things helped out. Maybe it would have got a little bit better anyways. I don't know. Anyways, that felt great today. Again, no knee sleeves because if anything was going on, I wanted to be aware of it. So, nothing on the knees. Around the 9th set, I did feel some pulling going on in my left quad, the other leg. Go figure. Kind of felt like the vastus medialis a little bit. That's on the inside of your quad. And kind of stretched up around the outside of my hip. I don't know, whatever. Again, I'm aware of these things. I start taking it slow a little bit. I felt it on set number 9. I really felt it on set number 10. Nothing tore, nothing ripped, nothing like that, but if I had to do another set, if that was in the middle of the routine somewhere, I would question if I would have kept going for sure. Or I certainly would have taken much longer in between or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, it didn't. It happened when it did, and I got through everything. It's all good. So I'm eating and chilling out and shoveling snow and all that good stuff. Per usual, I finished up on the reverse hyper with 4 sets of 10, no weight, just stretching it out. I did get a couple good snap, crackle, pop things going on there, so that was awesome. And now I rest. I rest up until Friday, like I told you guys. And then I'm going to see what I can move for the old single. Hopefully, it's something halfway decent. I got to try and really get good food in this week, which I think will actually be tricky because I'm not training. So the appetite kind of drops down a little bit and you're not really as hungry. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to try and force some of those meals in and whatnot. But might be a lot of shakes, whatever. I'll try and get it in there because the work is done. And I think that's what probably a lot of people don't realize. Now this week is when things recover and get better. I definitely learned that from some of the other Russian peaking cycles that I've done in the past. They start tapering down for a meet at like a month out, which seems crazy to me until I tried it, and then it was fantastic. You go into the meet, and even though you haven't touched anything remotely heavy in about a month, you feel fantastic. And in your head, everything's going to feel heavy because you haven't touched anything heavy. And it's just not the way it works. You feel really good. So I'm going to enjoy the week off. I'm going to try and pound the food, get everything in, make sure I recover well, hopefully, and put up a semi-decent number on Friday. So, no nothing. I'm not really going to do anything. I was thinking maybe a little bit of bike or something to keep the blood flow in the legs. Even if I do that, it's going to be ridiculously moderate, like 15 minutes on level 1. Just for some blood flow and kind of feed the muscles a little bit. That might not be a bad idea, just to keep things kind of loose and flowing and that sort of thing. But absolutely nothing remotely strenuous whatsoever, because you want everything to heal up and be fresh and ready. So that's it. My thoughts, I guess I'll have more when I see what kind of number I post up on Friday. But right now, I think 405 was the perfect number to set it at. Like I said, this week finally got a little bit to the point where I was working. The first 2 weeks were way easier than I thought. So I think if you're struggling in that first week or the second week, you probably set your number too high. So anyways, I think I set those fairly well. Again, I never rushed anything. I took my time. I made sure that I got my numbers. It's the only goal I had, hit my numbers. The only thing I threw in through this whole thing was the reverse hyper at the end, and I believe, I'd have to look back, but I think I pretty much always totaled 40 reps. Why? Because I was doing between 36 and 30 reps of squats at my working weight. So why not do right around there of something to fix that back? You know, keep it a nice little 1-to-1 ratio. Yeah, I guess I did a little bit more, but it's unweighted, it's good, and it seemed to work. Like I said, I got a couple cracks in there and everything, so it seemed to do what it was supposed to do every time. Why mess with it? So yeah, it's all about setting your numbers. It's about not doing anything else. Do what you got to do. Get in, get out. It's a specialized program. You know, I was watching some reviews on YouTube the other day, and people were talking about they did, just a little bit of, bent rows and some bench pressing. And listen, all that crap is going to tear into your recovery, man. Yeah, you're working a little different muscle and whatever, but you got to think about the body as a whole. When you're doing one of these specialized programs with this type of volume, especially, I mean, Smolov is notorious for a ridiculous amount of volume at a fairly high intensity. You are getting beat up. So it goes back to the old school powerlifting thing. Like, if you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting down, lay down. If you can sleep instead of laying down, then do that. So it would make absolutely no sense to me to throw in anything extra whatsoever. So the only reason the reverse hyper was in there was just to keep the back healthy. That's why there was no weight. That's why it was minimal. I mean, there's a reason for all of it, So think about that kind of stuff when you're doing these types of routines. Don't try throwing all kinds of other things and think you're going to get better at 5 different things at once. It's not going to happen. You're going to fail. And it's just the way it is. You need the recovery. You need the time. So squat, go home and eat. That's it. I've chewed up enough minutes of your day. So stay tuned. I'm not going to have nothing for you for a little while. I'm sure you're fine with that. I'll get back to you on Friday, and we'll see how that big single goes. We'll see what happens. And that's going to set the numbers for that intense cycle coming up. That's probably going to be a different ball game. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Peace.